Have you ever seen a love story where two people clearly adored each other, but you just knew it couldn't last? A relationship where ambition burned so bright it eclipsed everything else? That's exactly how I felt watching Gypsy on Broadway recently, and it wrecked me. I couldn't believe it when Herbie placed his hat on top of his head and walked off stage, his bags packed, just heartbroken. All I wanted to do was jump out of my red velvet seat at the Majestic Theater on 44th Street and yell, "He's a good man, Savannah, a good man." But the truth is, Rose already knew Herbie was a good man. She loved him, wanted a life with him, but her relentless ambition, her need to chase stardom at any cost, meant poor Herbie was never going to be enough. Certainly not for her. Her dreams were always going to be the loudest voice in the room. Hi, I'm Helen, a writing coach and award-winning produced screenwriter with an MFA in creative writing. And on my channel, I teach you the craft of romance storytelling. Today, I'm unpacking Gypsy, the iconic musical based loosely on the life of burlesque entertainer, stripper, and actress Gypsy Rose Lee. We're diving more specifically into the story's romantic subplot, the tragic romance between Rose, the ultimate stage mother, and Herbie, the man who loved her through it all. We'll explore what makes their love so compelling, so painful, and so unforgettable, and what it teaches about writing romantic subplots where identity, desire, and ambition collide. Gypsy first premiered in 1959 with the music by Jules Stein, lyrics by Stephen Sondheim, and a book by Arthur Lawrence. But the version I saw, and the one I'm reacting to today, is the 2024 Broadway revival starring the incomparable Audra McDonald as Rose. Look, let me tell you, when I walked out of that theater, I was completely emotionally wrecked, but also very inspired. It reminded me why we as artists need to go see, read, watch, and listen to great art. Encountering great works of art encourages us to push for better in our own works of art. And in this particular show, the cast, fabulous. Miss McDonald brought something electric to the role. Yes, she was fierce, commanding, and demanding, as the character of Rose has to be. But in this production, she was also tender. Her Rose doesn't just chase the spotlight for her and her daughters. She clings to it like a life raft, like it's the only way to matter, like it's their only chance for survival. And when you place that Rose next to a man like Herbie, you've got a love story that simmers until it finally explodes. Set during the dying days of vaudeville and the rise of burlesque, Gypsy is a story about performers in search of an audience, the right audience, and sometimes just any audience. Everybody from Mama Rose to her two daughters, Jude and Louise, and the ragtag team of talented stowaway performers that she convinces to join her traveling troupe is trying desperately to catch their big break. The world is shifting beneath Rose's feet, and she refuses to be forgotten. What's fascinating about this show now in 2025 is that it mirrors a tension so many creatives still feel. How do you balance the drive to be seen with the need to connect? To build a community that feels like family, but also let your light shine? How do women, especially, hold space for their ambition and their hearts in a world that tells us we can't have both? So, the setup. It's 1920 showbiz and the world is changing fast. Vaudeville is dying, burlesque is on the rise. Enter Rose, a true force of nature. She's determined to make her daughters stars, no matter the cost. She's the epitome of the pushy stage mom, seemingly chasing fame for baby June, but really, she's chasing it for herself. Herbie, on the other hand, is a kind-hearted candy salesman who becomes Rose's manager and slowly her partner. He's devoted, patient to a fault, and wants the simple things: stability, love, a home. He doesn't need the spotlight, he just needs Rose. And that's the issue. Rose may love Herbie, but she loves the dream more. Together, they're two people trying to build a future, except the problem is they're not building the same future. So, what's keeping them together then? Chemistry? Sure, but also comfort. Herbie is Rose's soft place to land, the man who believes in her when others don't. And Rose gives Herbie excitement, purpose, and maybe even a second chance at life. But what pulls them apart is a lot more powerful: their values. Herbie values love. Rose values fame and legacy. And every time he asks for a life with her, she puts him off, constantly telling him, "Soon, Herbie, soon." It's not that she doesn't care about him, that she doesn't love him. It's that she is incapable of letting go of the dream of the spotlight she's chased for so long. In Gypsy, we really see that sometimes the obstacle to love isn't a villain or a secret. It's a character's internal flaw. This is the kind of love story that doesn't die with betrayal. It dies with timing, with different longings, with all the dreams just out of reach. We feel Herbie's pain because we know what it's like to wait and wait for someone to choose us. And we feel Rose's ache because we know what it's like to believe that success is just right around the corner. That if we could just grab onto it, it might finally make us whole. The brilliance of this romance is that it never lies to us. It shows us the cost of choosing one kind of love over another. And that cost is heartbreak. So, how can we apply this heartbreaking brilliance to our own writing? Here are my top 3 takeaways for storytellers. 1. Let your lovers want different things. Romance gets interesting when desire collides with identity. Don't just give your characters obstacles. Give them incompatible visions of the future. 2. Use love as a mirror. Herbie reveals Rose's softness. Rose reveals Herbie's backbone. Their love exposes who they are, not just who they want to be. 3. Endings don't have to be tidy. Rose and Herbie don't end up together, but their story does end well because it feels well earned. Watching Gypsy reminded me that not all love stories are meant to last, but every great love story reveals something about the people inside of it. For Rose and Herbie, love was real, but it wasn't stronger than ambition. And that ache, that choice, that tension, that's the story. So tell me, have you ever written a couple who loved each other deeply, but just couldn't make it work? What did you learn from that heartbreak? Let me know down in the comments below. If you love this breakdown, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you need help building emotionally resonant love stories, I offer one-on-one coaching. Details are in the description below. Until next time, love, Helen.